Senate will come to order. Senator Murphy.
Good morning, Mr. President. I impose a call of the Senate.
The Senate is now under call. Senator Murphy.
Mr. President, I move that further proceedings under the roll call be dispensed with and that the Sergeant-at-Arms be instructed to bring in the absent members.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, will you be so kind as to stand? Members, under our rules, or under our customs, I should say, we always start with prayer. Today, I'll ask members to pause for a moment of silence, silent prayer and reflection. There's a lot going on in our world. It's a great time for us to pause and reflect and say a silent prayer. And following the prayer, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The moment of silence will be for about 30 seconds. Thank you. Thank you, members. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, members. The secretary will take the roll.
Abler, Barr, Bolden, Carlson, Champion, Clark, Coleman, Swadzinski, Dames, Dibble, Dornick, Draheim, Drazkowski, Duckworth, Farnsworth, Fateh, Frentz, Green, Grunhagen, Gustafson, Hochschild, Herr, Heinzmann, Hemmingson Jaeger, Hoffman, Holmstrom, Housley, Howe, Jasinski, Johnson, Johnson Stewart, Klein, Coran, Kroon, Kunish, Kupec, Lang, Latz, Liskey, Limmer, Lucero, Mann, Marty, Matthews, Mayquaid, McEwen, Miller, Mohammed, Murphy, Nelson, Verbaten, Pappas, Pa, Port, Pratt, Putnam, Rarick, Rasmussen, Rest, Seeberger, Utke, Weber, Wiesenberg, Westland, Westrom, Wickland, Zhang.
Members, a quorum is present. The following members intend to vote from a remote location pursuant to Rule 40.7. Senators Carlson, Lang, McEwen, Miller, and Nelson. Members, if you'd like to follow along with me, I'm reading from today's Senate agenda, dated Tuesday, March 17, 2025. We will begin at the second order of business, which is executive and official communications. The following communications were received and referred as indicated. Members, will now proceed to the third order of business, which is messages from the House. The Secretary will read the first message.
Mr. President, I have the honor to announce the adoption by the House of the following Senate concurrent resolution herewith returned. Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 7, a Senate concurrent resolution relating to adjournment for more than 3 days. Signed, Patrick Duffy Murphy, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives.
Members, no action is required. The Secretary will read the next message.
Mr. President, I have the honor to announce the passage by the House of the following House files herewith transmitted. House file numbers 3378, 3425, and 3556. Signed, Patrick Duffy Murphy, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives.
Again, members, no action is required. Members, there's a message to be read at the desk. The Secretary will read the message.
Mr. President, I have the honor to announce the passage by the House of the following House file herewith transmitted. House file number 3615, the bill for an act relating to cannabis. Signed, Patrick Duffy Murphy, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives.
Again, members, no action is required. We will now proceed to the fourth order of business, which is first reading of House bills. House file number 3615 is referred to the Committee on Rules and Administration for comparison with Senate file number 3670, now on general orders. The House files have been given their first reading and referred as indicated. Members, moving to the fifth order of business, which is reports of committees. Senator Murphy for a motion to adopt the committee reports.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the committee reports printed in the agenda be adopted.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Thank you, members. We will now proceed to the sixth order of business. Members, the sixth order of business is second reading of Senate bills. The Secretary will read the Senate file numbers.
Senate file numbers 3957, 4072, 3956, 239, and 3955.
The Senate files have been given their second reading. Now proceeding to the eighth order of business, which is introduction and first reading of Senate bills. The bills listed on today's introduction calendars are given their first reading and referred as indicated with no modifications. Members, will now proceed to the ninth order of business, which is motions and resolutions. Members, we will adopt the author's motion as one motion. All in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, I will now call on some individual senators for motions. We'll start with Senator Pa. Senator Pa, for your motion.
President Champion, thank you. I move that SF 4075 be withdrawn from the Committee on Transportation and re-referred to the Committee on State and Local Gov.
And Senator Powell, is this your bill, and have you talked to both chairs?
Yes, President Champion, and yes.
With that, Senator Powell moves that Senate file number 4075 be withdrawn from the Committee on Transportation and re-referred to the Committee on State and Local Governments. Any discussion? All in favor on that motion say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Hemmingson Jaeger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate file number 4177 be withdrawn from the Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection and re-referred to the Committee on State and Local Government. It's a bill related to the Secretary of State. Spoke with both chairs. I'm the author. I think we're all good.
Thank you, Senator. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, we will now go to Senator Putnam.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate File 4262 be withdrawn from the Committee on Taxes and re-referred to the Committee on State and Local Government. It is my bill, and I have talked to both chairs.
Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Wickland.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate File 4418 be withdrawn from the Committee on Health and Human Services and be re-referred to the Committee on Human Services.
Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Remaining on the motions of resolution, Senator Murphy, I'm identifying you in order to designate special orders.
Mr. President, pursuant to Rule 26, I designate the following bills be made special orders for immediate consideration.
Members, the special orders list that is dated March 17, 2026 is on your desk, and we will start with Senate File number 3832, Senator Kupec.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Senate File 3832 has to do with our dairy industry. Our dairy industry in Minnesota has been facing tough challenges of consolidation and low prices that producers are making. In 2019, the federal government introduced a dairy margin coverage program. It was designed to provide better financial protection to dairy producers when the margin, that's the all milk price minus the average feed cost, falls below selected levels. Also in 2019, Minnesota began its Dairy Assistant Investment Relief Initiative program, which we call Dairy with an I, but it's really got two I's, so we probably should call it Dairy with two I's. That helps Minnesota dairy farmers cover the cost of enrolling in the federal program. This program has led to Minnesota dairy farmers becoming national leaders in enrolling in the federal dairy margin coverage program, helping Minnesota dairy farmers with some stability through these difficult times. Currently, the program is accepting applications, but right now under the program, it is only dairy producers who were in existence from 2022 and previously. So the Senate File 3832 simply will allow new dairy producers that have come on since 2022 to enroll in the program and take advantage of this benefit. So there's money already that has been allotted for this, so there's no financial component to it. It is just opening up the door to those producers who have come into existence, which the Department of Ag says maybe 30 or 40 new producers are online.
Senator Dames.
Well, thank you, Mr. President and members, and I rise in support of this bill and thank Senator Kupec for bringing this forward. It certainly is a bill that will help the dairy farmers, and these are kind of tough times, so I'd encourage a green vote. Thank you.
Any other discussion before we go to third reading? Seeing none, the Secretary will give Senate File number 3832 its third reading.
Senate File number 3832, a bill for an act relating to agriculture, modifying eligibility for the Dairy Assistance Investment Relief Initiative Program.
Third reading. Members, any discussion before we move for voting for final passage of Senate File number 3832? Seeing none, the Secretary will take the roll on final passage of Senate File 3832. Members, please vote. Senator Kunish, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Fateh votes aye.
Senator Fateh votes aye.
And Senator McEwen votes aye.
And Senator McEwen votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Nelson votes aye.
Senator Nelson votes aye.
Senator Miller votes aye.
Senator Miller votes aye.
And thank you, Mr. President. Senator Lang votes aye.
And Senator Lang votes aye. All senators having voted who desires to vote, the secretary will close the roll. There have been 66 ayes and 0 nays. The bill is passed and its title agreed to. Members, we will now proceed to the 13th order of business, which is announcements of Senate interest. Any announcements of Senate interest? Without objection, the following senators will be excused from today's hearing. Senator Housley. Any other announcements of Senate interest? Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that everyone is invited to the Pappas Pratt Parks Pizza Party tomorrow between 11 and 1 in the Minnesota Senate building. Please feel free to join us for pizza and salad and information about Metro Parks.
Any other announcements of Senate interest? Senator Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, members, I just wanted to draw your attention to a communication that you received from the Office of the Legislative Auditor inviting you to make suggestions for upcoming year program evaluation topics. If you like to do it in the old-fashioned way, on a piece of paper, it's this yellow piece of paper that showed up in your office. Otherwise, you can, of course, do it by email. And if you could please do so by March 20th, that would be very much appreciated. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other announcements of Senate interest? Senator Hochschild.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to make sure everybody gets the invite to St. Louis County Days. It's tomorrow from 4:30 to 8 at the Intercontinental. Everywhere from Duluth to the Iron Range, Canadian border, and the Boundary Waters will be celebrated with different businesses, different nonprofits, and groups that are advocating for northern Minnesota. It's one of the better events. I know I'm biased, but we'd love to have as many of you there as possible. Thanks so much.
Any other announcements of Senate interest? Seeing none, Senator Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. President. 28 years ago, the people of Ireland and Northern Ireland reached the Good Friday Agreement, ending years of violence with their votes. And as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day today here in Minnesota, I hope we remember what is possible. Mr. President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until Wednesday, March 18th at 11 a.m.
On that motion, any discussion? All in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails and the Senate is now adjourned.